It's a 15 minutes talk. Okay, good morning. Good afternoon. Welcome to Web and Mobile. So the next talk is a shorter talk, only 15 minutes, 1-5. But so we'll give the time quickly over to Mr. Amorn, on this topic on Flutter. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Hi everyone. So this session I'm gonna talk about how to scaling a banking app with Flutter. So my own experience for 5 years in Flutter. Let's see what we have. Okay. So what is scaling and why we need scaling? The first one is once you start your project, right, and you keep going on your project, each time that you on top of the new features, your work will getting slower and slower, because the first time that you come to the project, you working on the login pages, right? And it's pretty much so simple because it's the first feature that you make, and you don't have to worry about the existing feature that is gonna broken or not. So that's why when you coming to the really first project, it go really fast. But since when you keep going on the same project, it will getting slower and slower. And people will let's put more people into it. But it's not working that way because of the scaling. So let's say your work is one-man day, right? If you put 2 or 3 people, it's supposed to be 3-man days. But it's not working that way because of the scaling. So they have something called degradation. So it's not the linear things that you put 3 people and you multiply by 3 and you got 3 times performance. It's not that way, right? So every time that you put more people, it will slowing you down. But it's not completely slow down. Let's say if you put 3 more people, your performance might be 2.9 or 2.8 or something. Yeah. So the problem is because we didn't prepare for scaling. So how to minimize this one is called degradation. So the first one is you have to plan for scalability for your application. I will talk about this later. And the architect of your app, when you join the app, when you first start the application, I'm recommend that you're not gonna use clean architecture or something like that, because it's too over-engineer. That's why we come to the third one, that you shouldn't over-engineer things too much. And scaling a Flutter app, in my own opinion, and my own experience, that I work on the iOS for about 10 years as well. So it's a little bit different approach between Flutter and native. So native, if you have a big project, sometimes from the fresh start, you might need up to 30 or 45 minutes to start your project from the first build. But in Flutter, you don't have that problem because they have a feature called hot reloaded. So when you change something like color or text, or maybe a little position of X and Y of this text, so it will keep the state and you can reload it under 1 or 2 seconds and you can see the result. But when compared to a native that you have to rebuild it again, it might take about 30 seconds instead of 45 minutes. But it will reset all the state that you have. So let's say that you're on the page 10, in register form something. But if you rebuild it, you have to start from the page 1 again. But Flutter is not like that. So I didn't introduce myself yet. So I'm a mobile lead engineer for the Make by KBank application. This project is another financial from the KBank. So basically, why we have two application. The first one is the basic idea is put the whole bank into your application. So you can do all the stuff like loaning, renting, buying a credit card, whatever you like. You don't have to go to the bank. But this one, we aim for the different approach. Our approach is we put you and your life into the bank. So we engage more into the social. We didn't we didn't plan to put the whole bank, so we don't have like lending, loaning, or buy credit card, but we more prefer like social engagement with the financial application. So the topics will be 5 years of evolution and how to scale it. So before we talking about scale, we have to talk that some context is good in some time. What to say? So basically, best practice, you always heard about it. Best practice is not the right way to put. So let's say best practice should put in the right context, not like when you start your project, you start with like, let's say, microservices, clean architecture, all the cooling stuff that they say that is a best practice. Google say that, like everybody, the big companies say that, but their context is different from your context because they talk about they have a big project, they have a ton of money to burning, but you just start with 1 or 2 persons. You shouldn't like copy paste from their idea into your project. So as I mentioned that we have different phases and we have different contexts, so we have to use different strategies. So the first concept is my startup mindset, right? We use Flutter because it's rapid prototyping, it's fast, it's good enough, let's say. If you compare to the native, it's not fast like native, but it's good enough to start your project and it's good enough for the user to use it. Good enough for your user is 60 frames per second. Over than that, it doesn't see any different. So the first phase, we use Flutter to validate idea. We have our own idea, but we want to ship fast. We want to validate it, that our idea in our head, is that valid in the whole market? So after you ship this one out, you will see the result from the users that your own idea is correct or not. So we come to the second phase, pivot phase. Pivot phase is like you think that your feature will be looking cool and everyone will using it, but once it go into the market, everybody use it differently than your idea. So you have to pivot based on your customers. So you have to use some analytics like data warehouse to see that which way that it should be in your market fit. The third one is growth phase. So now we will be talking about the scaling, because right now everybody like your products, they know that what they're gonna do with your products, but how to make it grow up. So you have to have more people, because the feature, people using it, they like it, they want to have like the next version. So you have to have more teams, more scaling. So scaling is like more teams and more code base that should prepare for scaling. So the fourth one is maturity phase. So it's the business, right? Everything is central about the business. You work on the project, you want to earn some money so your project can keep going. So what we learned for over 5 years, the first one is data-driven mindset. No imagination. This is my word. No imagination. You need validation. So it's not like you think that it works. No, it doesn't work that way. You think it might work, but you need to validate with your customers that it really works or not. So we have to have data mindset. Even all analytics that we have to use all the stuff to have this information to improve your application. The second one is automate everything. So basically, when you grow up, your project is growing up, you have more tasks to do. Basically, you don't code anymore. You have to look into analytics. You have to do some like monitoring your performance, your app, your production issues. So most of the time, your coding time will be less and lesser. So how to make it like catch up with the tasks that you have, so you automate things. So you find out that what tasks that you can do automating, turn it into automate. But don't everything, because sometimes it's so hard to do the automate. You might need some manual tasks. And CI/CD is a must. At first, I thought that it's like just one people I can do like unit tests and I can ship by myself. But after we have like 12 people, everybody trying to shift their features into the testing environment. So this one is like, yeah, it's a must for the scaling. And the last one is keep it simple, because as I mentioned is don't copy from the Google, because you have your own context. So not go over engineering. So you have to balance between keys, keep it simple, stupid, and dry, don't repeat yourself. If you don't want to like very clean architecture, very clean stuff, but your feature is not going anywhere, yeah, that's not how business works. So balance this one. But for myself, I prefer to under engineering a little bit, because code is cheap. For myself, we throwing the code like maybe 2 or 3 days, this code is duplicated and we throw it away anyways. So don't to like think too much about the futures. So best practice is not a light practice for you. So to sum up, the practicality over perfection. So you do it first, you ship it, make it work, but make it right later, because you don't know that what is the right choice for user. So you have to make it work with the high standard as well, right? Not like make it crappy. So make it work and make it right. So for the scalability, yeah, so in the mobile application, we have to concern about 2 things, the performance optimization and productivity efficiency. As I mentioned, that your work will getting slower and slower. So the first one, the performance optimization, is about API calls. So you don't go like your server is like the God server that you can go crazy every pages that you call like multiple API without thinking about the resources. Yeah, you have to think about it. Like a caching, lazy loading, the offline support, and efficiency, like, because if you have like 12 people working on the same project, you want to have everybody have the same knowledge as you. So we use some automate tasks like code scanning, reading, automate some tasks, feature flagging to ship the feature first, and if it's broken, you can turn it down. And analytics, or the alerting system, and testing is one of the fundamental to do some, to reduce the degradation of your project as well, because you don't want to like, if you have 200 features in your application, you don't want to retest all over again if you just change something a little bit. So this is our mindset, and we think that the result is like we are the most loved financial app in Thailand. So over 4.5 stars on both iOS and Android with a 250K reviews. So our mindset is practically over perfection. We ship it first and we make it perfect. So our key takeaway is scale smartly. So as I mentioned, don't copy paste from the best practice. You have your right context. You have to think about it when to do it. Efficiency wins. So as the project degradation, you have to minimize it as much as possible. I know that you cannot like make it 0, but yeah, with some like optimized processes, automate tasks, and try to eliminate waste. And user need evolve, because even 5 years ago, we launched the product. These features still need evolve over time, because user, they have their new knowledge, their new things to do. So yeah, all the analytics that you have. So this is the key that we have for the scalability. Okay, thank you.